Welcome everyone. Again, we are back over here to learn immunization. Till the last class, we read some pages and then we just stopped about immunization and vaccination. So, in this new lecture, we are going to learn about immunization, and under this immunization, there is a subtopic called as vaccination. So basically, what is this immunization? Immunization means we are making the citizens immune to any infection or any virus. Now, and vaccination comes when we are giving vaccines and then making patients immune. So what basically is immunization is that give we first introduce small or weak amount of bacteria or viruses into the person's body. Then the body is then the immune system of the person is able if the immune system of person is able to fight the infection successfully, then the body learns how it is going to manage this type of new bacteria that or new virus that has entered the body. And then our immune system remembers how it tackled the pathogen for the first time, and then this becomes a memory for our body. So then next time the same virus comes, your body knows how to fight it, and the response that comes second time is much more powerful than the first time. So when you had your COVID vaccines, when you had your first vaccine, then you had your second vaccine, and then some people had booster dose. So what did the first, like if you have had the vaccine, then you might be remembering after you had the first injection, you guys were on the bed for like 2 to 3 days or 1 or 2 days, and you felt really sick, and your hands and arms were paining and your legs were paining, and you had headaches and everything. This is because small amount of COVID virus that was weakened was put into your body, and then your body was learning how to fight the COVID virus. Then there was some amount of immunity. When you had your next COVID vaccine, the second dose of COVID vaccine did not feel painful. So while second dose, it was just like 6 to 7 hours of headache. It is what happened to me, and then it was all normal. So this was done so that your immunity is boosted and your body knows how to fight a bigger infection if the real coronavirus ever affects you, or like when you catch the infection, your body knows how to fight it. So this is how vaccination worked. Now let us know a bit of history, how this vaccination was developed in first place. How did the humans know that this is how we can just infect in small quantities, and then our bodies can learn how to fight it on a larger scale. So traditional Indian and Chinese medicinal systems sometimes deliberately rubbed skin crusts of smallpox victims into the healthy people. So they they thus hoped to induce small amount of smallpox that would create resist against the disease. So what did this Indian and Chinese medicinal system do? So Indian traditional system is called as Ayurveda, and Chinese also have a very advanced medical system. So what did these guys do? They took the skin of the smallpox patient and then dried it and then rubbed it against the healthy patient. Now when it was rubbed against the healthy patient, the virus from the infected skin passed to the healthy person, and then the patient's body reacted for some time. uh, the scars appeared, then the person had a fever, and after that the body had developed some resistance against this smallpox virus. Similarly, famously 2 centuries ago, English physician named as Edward Jenner So now again, another English doctor, Edward Jenner, realized that the milkmaids who had smallpox did not catch cowpox did not catch smallpox. Even during the epidemic, uh, cowpox is very mild disease. Jenner tried to deliberately giving cowpox to the people as he had seen in the picture. So now here you can see a baby or a boy who is a teenager probably, and this is Edward Jenner, and this is the nurse. So what he is doing is he is giving cowpox. Now let me explain this. So Edward Jenner was a very famous scientist or a physician. So what did he do? He realized that the milkmaids are the people who work with the cows, and then mm, they take care of cows. Then they bring milk to your house. So this is what they do. So these milkmaids who had cowpox infection in past, cowpox. Now, what is this cowpox? What is this pox? Pox means small pustules or pimples appear on your skin, which are very painful, and then they leave scars behind when they disappear. So milkmaids have had cowpox before, and so the smallpox did not affect them. So the smallpox did not affect them. So this is because their body had developed resistance to smallpox because they have been exposed to cowpox before. So now what did this Jenner do? Jenner tried to give this cowpox to multiple number of people so that they developed the resistance against smallpox, and found that they were now resistant to smallpox. This is what Jenner found. This was because the smallpox virus is closely related to the cowpox virus. Yeah, so this happened because smallpox and cowpox were very closely related, probably cousins of each other, and this is why the medicine that was used on the resistance that was developed on the cowpox was very effective on the smallpox. So this is what Edward Jenner did, and this is what he got the credit for. So now, where did the term vaccination come? So cow is vacca in Latin, and pox is vaccina. From these roots, the word vaccination came to our usage. So this is how vaccination term was coined. This is what we can say. These are general ways of preventing infections. What are the specific ways? They are related to peculiar property of the immune system that is usually fighting off the microbial infection. Let us cite the example. So this is like not really important, but these days there is no smallpox anywhere in the world. But recently, as 100 years ago, smallpox epidemic was not at all uncommon. So this was a very famous epidemic, and it had caused havoc in some countries. A lot of people were dying, a lot of people were facing a lot of difficulties. In such epidemic, people used to be very afraid of coming near someone suffering from the disease, since they were afraid of catching the disease. So people were actually scared of people who had previously gotten smallpox, because it was an infectious disease, and it spread from one person to another by the contact of skin. However, there was one group of uh, people who did not fear this, because these people would provide nursing care to the victims of smallpox. This was the group of people who had smallpox earlier and survived it. So the people who had smallpox in their childhood and then survived it successfully had developed the resistance to smallpox, and this is why these people were helping in nursing other people. In other words, if you had smallpox once, there was no chance of suffering from it again. So having the disease once was a means of preventing subsequent attack of the same disease. So the people who had smallpox once in their lifetime did not get affected by smallpox again. So we can say that once someone has had smallpox infection, did not again had to worry about it. Your body had developed the skill of killing of smallpox viruses. This happens because when the immunity system first sees an infectious microbes, it responds against it and then remembers it specifically. So your immune system remembers things specifically, how to kill a certain type of microbes or pathogen. So next time that particular microbes or its close relative enters your body, the immune system responds with even greater vigor. So next time your body is ever going to notice the same thing, your body will give a really vigorous reaction to it, and it will kill off all the bacteria or viruses, specifically viruses. This eliminates this eliminates the infection even more quickly, so the recovery is quite faster first than the first time around. So first time it would, if the infection had caught on first time, it would have taken days, but now, sorry, weeks, and now it can just get off in few days. This is the basis of the principle of immunization. So this is the immunization. What immunization means: you give a patient immunity by exposing the pathogen for the first time in a smaller quantity. We can now see that general principle, that we can fool the immune system into developing the memory of particular infection by putting something that mimics the microbe. Okay, so something that will mimic the original microbe, so something that will mimic the original COVID virus will be put into your body. For example, a weakened virus or a smaller relative of the COVID would be put. We want to vaccinate against into the body. This does not actually cause the disease, but it would prevent any subsequent exposure to the infecting microbe from turning into actual disease. So this will not really make you sick for a long time, but it will give you immunity to fight the bigger infection if it ever occurs. So luckily I did not have a single COVID test till now, because I did not travel while it was COVID. For 2 years I was studying. Also, I did not leave my house for almost 2 years, and whenever I did, I was in a very safe environment. I did not catch COVID even once. Okay, so this was some information about me as well. If you guys are enjoying, you should subscribe. So this is the third part. Obviously, I thought it would get covered in two parts, but two parts for this chapter becomes, I guess, too short. So I decided to split ending section into another. Many such vaccines are now available for preventing a whole range of infections, diseases, and provide disease-specific means. So what is disease-specific means? Disease-specific means something that is meant for only one disease. COVID vaccine will not work on common cold, obviously. So this is very disease-specific thing of prevention. There are vaccines against tetanus, diphtheria, whooping cough, measles, polio. I don't know if you guys remember, but there were a few campaigns in previous years that were mainly focused on polio, in which the kids were given vaccine through the mouth. I don't know if you guys remember. I used to go and have these polio shots, probably once a year. This form of public health programs of childhood immunization for preventing infectious diseases. Of course, such a program can be useful only if such health measures are available. If it is available, then only it is going to happen. If the vaccine is not available, country is going to die eventually. So, in some poorer countries like Afghanistan, India has taken initiative and sent a lot of medicines, vaccines, and COVID vaccines for the people of Afghanistan, and a lot of other poorer countries of Africa. So I think this COVID was, the initiative that India took in COVID was a really good stand according to me, and this not only helped India but also helped a lot of other countries. And I think this is the good part of our country, that we live in a country that believes in helping others out, and this is what I want to say. And we should be proud of being Indian for this immunization thing that India did. Can you think of reasons why this should be? So this is the reason. So, some hepatitis viruses which cause jaundice are transmitted through the water when you drink really unhealthy water. There is a vaccine for one of them, hepatitis A, in the market. So there is a hepatitis A vaccine, but the majority of children in many parts of India are already immune to hepatitis A by the time they are 5 years old. So they are very immune to hepatitis A till they are 5 years old. This is because they are exposed to virus through water. Because now children are usually exposed to hepatitis through water naturally. So these people are actually immune to hepatitis A before even taking the vaccine because they are directly exposed to some amount of virus through water. बस हो गया. This was all. Subscribe to the channel, and I would highly recommend you guys to share this. If you guys have found any value in this lecture, which you already did, I told you whole story about Edward Jenner, so you guys should subscribe. And chalo, bye bye. We are 16 minutes in the lecture, and I also invite you to the next lecture, next chapter. Officially the chapter is over, and you guys can write the notes of this chapter. The ending part is very MCQ based, so you guys should the middle part of the chapter as well, so you should not ignore that. Watch the previous lecture if you haven't understood this properly, because the basis of everything, the symptoms and also some diseases, these things about viruses, these things we have discussed in the previous lecture. So I would highly recommend watch the previous lecture. Description of previous lecture is in the link. So also hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. See you in the next class. Bye bye.